mentioned, our presenters for today are Jody and Ashley from the Wellness Center. We do have a beautiful wellness center at Fanshawe College, so I'm sure they're very excited to share information with you about their space and all of the great programming that they have available. So I'm happy to turn it over to you, ladies.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for joining us, everybody. So I'm going to talk about the first part of our presentation. It's going to be about the Wellness Center and show you some pictures if you haven't been here and haven't seen it yet, just so you know what we have, what the space looks like. We'll talk about some of the programs and services that we offer here for the students and to help you with your well-being and your health and your fitness. And then Ashley's going to take it over once I've talked about the facility and our programs, and then she's going to give you some information, some nutrition tips and how to stay healthy and eat well and while you're a student. And sometimes often that can be very difficult when you're away from home and you're used to eating a certain way. And then you come here and the foods are all different and eating looks different and the grocery stores look different. So she's going to talk to you a little bit about that as well. So let's get started. So we know that your life as a student on campus is more than just writing exams and going to class and studying and doing tests and assignments. We've stopped. Hold on, we've got a time thing on here. So we're going to stop it for a second. This one, bear with us. There's a timing on here. So click that off. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry, we're good now. So yes, we know that your life is more than just exams and studying, and that there's more to your life being on campus. And we want to make sure that we provide those services to you so you can be happy and healthy. So we know that a healthy, well-balanced students are also successful students. So you don't want your life on campus to just revolve around academics. You want to explore, you want to be a part of those social groups, you want to know what's going on with the student union, be a part of the Wellness Center and all the programs and services that we offer here, our fitness classes, our trainers are here to help. It can be very intimidating in the beginning if you want to start a healthy lifestyle and start eating better and start exercising. Coming to this facility can be very intimidating for some, but we are here to help make sure that transition is easy. So our goal here at the Wellness Center, we work quite a bit with the Counseling Accessibility Department as well. And our goal is to connect your education, your career, and lifestyle in an easily manageable way. So we want to make sure that these are skills and things that we're teaching you that you can carry on into life when you're not on the campus anymore, and when you're not a student and you're working and you start having families. And these are things that can carry with you throughout. So we're going to take a look at what the Wellness Center looks like. So this is the outside of the Wellness Center. If you're driving down the road there, outside it looks like this. Now it says it'll say in big letters, Student Wellness Center. So we have a big sign on there. This is an earlier picture right before it was opened. As you can see, it's very beautiful inside. We have two floors of fitness equipment and fitness. And our main floor is just our access to our change rooms and access to our rock climbing wall, which you'll see after that. So we do a lot of programming on our fitness floors. We do have trainers that work for us, and we have a fitness desk. And they are here to help you. So we have two different types of services that we offer. So we have we can write a program for you. So if it's your first time in the facility and you have no idea what you're doing, our trainers will sit down with you. They'll have a conversation. They'll find out what your goals are, what your needs are, and then they will design a fitness program for you so that you can achieve those goals. And they will show you through that program, make sure you understand how to use the equipment, what to do moving forward. And then they set you off free and spread your wings, and then you can go and work out on your own. And you can check back in with us, and we'll check in with you just to make sure you're doing okay. And And, you know, in about 2 months time, we'll revamp the program for you. So that's all part of your membership. There's no extra fee for that. And we do that because we feel that it's very important for you to be successful. And in order to be successful, you really need to know and understand how to use the equipment and make sure you have a program to follow. So that's part of your membership. The other service that we offer, our trainers offer, is personal training. So that's a little different, and there is a fee associated with that. It's a very minimal fee, and it's all based on per session. So we do charge students quite a bit less than for personal training than what you would see rates are outside of the college. And the difference between a personal trainer and the service I was talking to you about before is that personal trainer will be with you every single workout, and they will motivate you. They'll be there, and that's what you're paying for. You're paying for that person to be there and guide you the entire time. You don't need to remember your program. Your trainer, that's what your trainer's job is, and they will make sure that they focus on what you need for that day. So that's a different fee. That there is service, and there is a fee associated to that. So we also have group fitness classes, and what you see here is our spin space with our spin bikes, and that's located on our second or our third floor of our facility. So we have a variety of fitness classes and programs, and again, those are all part of your membership as well. So we do run spin classes. We have a multiple yoga classes every day, at least 2 or 3. We have boot camp classes. We have dance and Zumba classes. So we have every type of class that you would see in a regular fitness facility. All of our staff here are certified and trained. A lot of our staff are graduates from our fitness and health promotion program here. So they are all very qualified and certified in everything to offer these classes. So it's a great thing that the college has done for the students and being able to provide these services for the students and building this amazing facility. So some of our other amenities and programs that we have. So you'll see over there the rock climbing wall. So that is actually a very popular place here on campus. So we've just recently opened the rock wall again about 3 weeks ago, I believe. And so it's just limited spaces right now, just because we're trying to keep everything, with, COVID and whatnot, just everything safe and manageable. But the rock climbing wall is amazing. Again, that is also part of your membership. Sorry, our lights turn off when we don't move around a lot in here. So that is also part of your membership. And there is a coordinator in there, and she will show you everything. We do give certifications on how to do the belay. So you can come in with a friend and you learn how to belay each other and climb. We also have, you'll see in the picture, those big yellow triangles, and those are attached to our auto belays. And those you don't require a partner to belay with. You just hook it onto your harness and it will automatically belay you up the wall. And again, we have people in there to show you how to do that and make sure that you know how to use it. We do have a golf simulator. You'll see it's located in one of our squash courts, and it's also very popular. We have zombie golf and there's soccer on there. So it's quite wonderful. We do have clubs that we rent out with your student card. So you just need to show your student card and then we can lend you golf clubs. You can bring your own if you have golf clubs. We just have to inspect them just to make sure everything's okay, so that it doesn't ruin any of our turf in there and our screens. And then you'll see at the bottom, we do have squash. So right now, currently, we're not running squash. We have ping pong tables in our squash courts. And the only reason for that is just because it's very difficult for us to maintain social distancing when you're playing squash. So we are not playing squash at the moment, but we are looking to bring back that activity in the new year in January. So this brings you to our wellness services area, and located in our wellness services area is the Fowler Kennedy Clinic. And also down the hallway, this is the main sort of desk reception area. And then you walk right past that desk and they'll take you into Fowler Kennedy. But if you were to turn where that desk is, it brings you down a hallway, and right now they're offering counseling services in that space. So there's some drop-in counseling happening and some scheduled counseling. And it's quite a nice partnership and relationship. And we believe that the wellness, that counseling really does belong here in the Wellness Center, and we like it. And there's less stigma attached to it being over here, and you can come and talk with a counselor. And it's much different than walking into the counseling office that's labeled counseling above the door. So, and it's a very welcoming environment. So we encourage, if anybody needs to speak with a counselor, reach out to the counseling, and they can help you with a variety of things. Like they can help you even if you just need to talk to somebody briefly. And Laura mentioned that counseling was talking with you last Friday. So I'm sure they gave you all that information and told you about that. And you see these 2 chairs here, and they are napping rooms. So we have 2 napping rooms down that wellness services area, the hallway. Again, those are not open right now, just because it's hard to maintain those spaces and booking at the moment with the reduced staff and services that we're offering. But again, we're looking to open those back up in the new year. And they are quite popular as well. So you can book those spaces for 45 minutes for quiet time, for napping, whatever you need to do in those spaces. So this is just to talk about the counseling services in the private rooms. So this is, again, some of the private rooms are down that hallway, and we find it's a great relationship. We do have, I'm sure they talked about the service dog that they have, Hartley, and Hartley lives down there as well. He lives in the wellness area. Whenever Hartley's here, he stays in that space, and it's very lovely to see Hartley every day. So there's also a pharmacy on campus that's located in the Wellness Center building, and it's basically right across from the rock wall, right beside Booster Juice. We have a Booster Juice as well. So you can get prescriptions filled here, and anything that you would basically need in a pharmacy, you have it right on campus, which is very convenient. And so now we're going to talk about the services that we currently offer virtually. So we are open right now in the actual Wellness Center. We are open very limited hours at the moment. So we're open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Friday. And we're only functioning on our 2nd floor of fitness right now. Just to maintain numbers, you have to book a session, and there's a process that you need to go through to initiate your membership and sign up and book a session to come in. You do have to be double vaxxed, 14 days past your 2nd dose in order to come into the facility. So that is a requirement. And we are just functioning our 2nd floor of fitness. Come January, we will be expanding and opening up all of our services, and business will be almost back to normal and usual in January. So we will expanding. But until then, we are offering, so we don't have any of our classes running right now that I spoke about earlier, but we do offer classes virtually. So I'm going to talk about some of those services. So some of the things that we used to offer in person, we are still offering, but we're just doing it virtually right now. So things are still happening, and some people are liking the virtual option a lot, just because it's hard to come here, and especially if you're not on campus, or if you're not even living here in London. So it makes it much easier. So right now, services that we offer weekly. So we offer workouts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So classes, we post them on the Facebook. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. And I think we have a slide that shows you what those, where to find those. We have weekly stretch bakes that we do, wellness information posts constantly. We post campus life information. So we also make sure that we connect whatever's happening through the student union and FSU. We cross promote, and we have nutrition minutes. So we'll talk quite a bit. We have a little videos that we post with nutrition, and make sure that we're giving you some tips. So that's everything that we do virtually. So how to find us virtually is the next. So we do have a student Facebook page. So first of all, you can contact us. You can always look at our information and for updates on our website, which is studentwellnesscenter.ca. So we're always updating our page We're going through a revamp of our website right now. So we're just starting to add all the services and whatnot that we're going to be starting in January. So bear with us if you go in there and you don't see something. We're still, it's a work in progress.
Our email address is on our website. So if there's something that you don't see and you have questions about, feel free to reach out to us that way. And we can do our best to get answers for those if they're not updated on the website or you don't see something you're looking for.
Absolutely. So our Facebook page is Fanshawe Student Wellness Center. So you look that up. We post everything on Facebook and our Instagram page. So it's Fanshawe SWC. On our Instagram page, you will also find recreation information on there as well. So the Instagram page is shared with the Wellness Center and recreation. So you'll find out everything about drop-in times in the gymnasium where you can come and play basketball or badminton or volleyball. There isn't any intramural leagues running right now, but that will also start up again in a smaller capacity, I believe, in January. So look on our Instagram page for updates on intramurals and the Wellness Center as well. And I think that concludes my portion. So if you have any questions, save them up and or you can put some in the chat and we'll answer them after. I think Ashley's going to go over what is healthy eating.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about healthy eating and nutrition. This is something that we get a lot of questions about, and it can be a very different thing when you're moving to a new place and you're trying to figure out the grocery stores, you're trying to figure out what foods to eat, what is healthy, what isn't healthy or is less healthy, and all those kinds of things. So I'm going to give you guys a few tips on navigating some of that. So to start, I just want to give you kind of an overview of what healthy eating is. So when we eat healthy, we want to include a variety of different foods. When we eat lots of different foods, lots of different colors, that kind of stuff, we are able to get the wide range of nutrients that we need. They help us feel good, they give us energy, and just maintain our overall health. Consuming whole foods. So when I say whole foods, I mean foods that resemble, when they're cooked, resemble closely what they were before they were cooked. So things like your grains, looking at whole grains, that would be something very similar to what was planted in the ground and is now on your plate. Little to no processed foods, so limiting those processed foods. Again, those would be foods that look less like the things that were planted in the ground. And then choosing beverages, so drinks that hydrate and give nutrients or electrolytes. So that would be things like water, herbal teas. Some of your sports drinks are good and can give electrolytes if they're needed and that kind of stuff. And then avoiding some of those things that don't, like the sugary energy drinks is a big one. And the pop or the soda is another one. Those are often have a lot of sugar in them. So avoiding those as frequently as you can, but I never say to anybody, cut things out completely. Why is healthy eating important? Healthy eating helps us to do a lot of things now and in the future. It helps us maintain overall body weight. It helps reduce the risk of chronic disease. And I always say with this one that it's typically not something you're probably thinking about right now with regards to things like heart disease and diabetes, but it's always a good time to start doing preventative things to prevent those from happening down the road. So you guys are likely young. You're probably not worrying about this right now, but down the road, as you get, as you finish school, get into your careers and into life, those are things that you want to be aware of, but you can start to change those things now and prevent those things from happening. Improving mood and boosting energy, and then improving learning, memory, and concentration. So those last three are all big things for students. When you're in school, you're stressed typically at certain times of the year for sure. And you are learning, you're trying to retain information, you're trying to concentrate on things. So healthy eating and nutritious foods can help you do that. which is something a lot of people don't think about. So some healthy eating tips. I talked about variety of foods. You'll see in the picture there are lots of different foods, lots of different color. That can be a big thing to help you get that variety of nutrients. And then fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and proteins. Those are kind of our big go-tos, as well as healthy fats. We want to limit that highly processed food like we talked about, and choose water as often as you can. If you have the choice to drink water, then choose water. Using food labels to compare different foods. And this can sometimes be a tricky thing to learn, but this is something that if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us and we will help give you some tips for reading nutrition labels. And then being aware of food marketing and how it influences your food choices. And this is always a very interesting one. I usually use the example that jumps out to me most in grocery stores is when I see packages of bacon that are labeled as gluten-free. So gluten-free is a big hype term right now. Lots of people decide they want to eat gluten-free. Bacon is a food that has always been gluten-free. There's never ever been gluten in bacon, but it's something that they're marketing as gluten-free because they're trying to get people to purchase bacon who are eating gluten-free. So that's a marketing thing that can kind of influence your food choices and maybe make you choose foods for that reason and not because of the nutrition that they have in them. So being aware of those things. When you're eating out, this is a big one. Now restaurants are open here. People are going out, enjoying food. Consider your portion sizes. When you get a meal delivered to you at a sit-down restaurant, typically it's a very large portion size. So be aware of that and consider what's on your plate and how much is on your plate. And never be afraid to take it home if you want. Typically, you can probably get 1.5 to 2 meals out of a lot of restaurant-sized meals. Aim for a fruit or a vegetable. So if you can get a side salad instead of the French fries, although they taste better, getting that side salad will let you get a vegetable in or multiple vegetables in. And then aiming to choose those more whole foods, so those foods that resemble the things that were planted in the ground, or a blend of those foods over those processed foods. Choosing water or herbal tea. A big one in restaurants, I usually ask for sauce on the side. So when I say sauce, I'm talking salad dressings, or things like mayo, ketchup, mustard, the things you might get on your burger. Get them on the side. And put them on yourself. Because typically when you put them on yourself, you will probably use less than what they'll put on in the restaurant. You can look at menus ahead of time now. Most restaurants have their menus online, so you can look at the menu ahead of time. You can decide what you want to eat, and you can make those healthy choices then. And if you are going to get dessert, share it with a friend. Typically, those desserts, again, are big portion sizes, and they're great for sharing. I want to touch a little bit on meal planning and grocery shopping, because these are things that will help you as you transition into changing what your eating might look like, because you're transitioning into a different time in your life. So meal planning, these are kind of the main steps, and we're going to talk about each of these briefly. So scheduling what you're going to eat during a week, taking stock or inventory. So what do you already have? Searching for recipes, things you want to try, planning for leftovers because they will save you when you're busy, writing out your menus, and then grocery shopping, and making your list and grocery shopping. Well, first, when you think about your schedule and what you're going to eat for the week, think about what you have going on and jot down any times where you may not have a lot of time to prepare food, because those are times when the leftovers will come in very handy. If you have a meal plan template, something like what's on the screen, you can put a star by those meals where you might not have a lot of time to cook. Then looking at what you have. So look at what you have in your cupboard, your fridge, and your freezer. And when you start planning your meals, plan around what you already have. This is going to help you prevent food waste. So prevent throwing things in the garbage. when we throw food out, we're essentially throwing money straight into the garbage. So it's a really good money saving tip to make sure you're using what you have first and then purchasing only what you need. Searching for recipes. This is sometimes overwhelming in the beginning. So typically what I'll tell people is if you are just starting out with meal planning, maybe just pick one meal of the week. So maybe you're just going to plan your dinners ahead of time and start with that instead of overwhelming yourself by planning all your meals and all your snacks all at once. But create a list of recipes that you'd like to try. I keep one in my phone. I keep a list in my phone. So if I see something, I think, hey, I want to try that. I just like copy and paste the recipe into a note on my phone. And when I get to try it, then I get to try it, but at least I don't have to go back searching for that recipe again. And then think about what you like to eat. If you are eating with roommates or family members, think about what they like to eat and include those things. So look for recipes that include those types of food. And then keep it simple. I think when people hear the word recipe, they think it's going to be long and complicated, and it doesn't have to be. A lot of recipes can only have a few ingredients and still be really great options. So keep in mind that it doesn't have to be complicated. Recipes can be very simple. Planning for leftovers. I know for me and my house, this is a lifesaver. We do it a lot because we use what we ate for dinner the night before for lunches the next day typically. So plan to make more food than you can eat in one sitting. And then when you have leftovers, make sure you have an idea of how you're going to use them. Because if you don't have an idea for how you're going to use them, they might just sit in your fridge and go bad and you may end up throwing them out. So plan when you put them in the containers and put them in the fridge. No, I'm going to take this for lunch tomorrow. And then larger recipes with multiple servings can be great for creating leftovers and making sure you have leftovers.
And putting them in freezers, and putting them in the freezer. So having containers, making like large meals. And if you don't think you're going to eat them for leftovers for lunch, you can package them and get containers that you can freeze them so that there'll be meals later on so that you're not wasting.
Mm-hmm. I use my deep freeze a lot for those kinds of things. Writing out your menu. So once you know what you're going to eat for the week, write it down. I always put it on the fridge. I know in my house, we went through a period, especially with COVID, where my husband and I were both home and we would at lunchtime be like, what are we going to have for dinner? Instead of just looking at the menu on the fridge and going, oh, we're having that for dinner. So sometimes that keeps you on track. You don't have to think about what you're going to eat for dinner every night. You sit down, you do it once, you think about it once, and then you just have to look at your fridge or look at the note on your phone and say, oh, I'm having this for dinner. And if there's something you need to pull out, then you can do that. And then the last step to all of that is making your grocery list and going grocery shopping. So once you have your menu planned out, you know the things you already have because you've taken a look at that. So you're going to add to the list the things that you need to pick up. Following the store order when you're grocery shopping can be really helpful. So this list that you see on the side there is kind of laid out. Like typically you would walk into a produce section, then go into the bakery. The meats are typically along the back and the dairy, and then you've got the freezer aisle and you've got those center aisles where you'll find things like pasta and canned fishes and stuff like that that can also be good to add to those meals.
Typically when you're doing, so it's probably going to go through this one. Never mind.
Grocery store layout. So now that I've said that, here's what a typical grocery store looks like. So you typically walk in and you're going to see the produce first. That's your fruits and your vegetables. When you get to the back, you're typically going to see your bakery section. So that's going to be things like breads, wraps, buns, bagels, muffins, those kinds of things. Your meat and your dairy is usually along the back wall in the freezers or the coolers. You've typically got your freezer section down the side there where you're going to find frozen things ranging from like little prepackaged TV dinners to burgers to chicken fingers to all kinds of things like that in that freezer section.
And frozen vegetables.
And frozen vegetables, frozen fruits, that kind of stuff. And then through the middle, you have those center aisles that are going to have lots of different foods in them. I'm going to go through this quickly because we kind of did cover some of this. So like I said, produce, the first section you usually walk into, you can see an example in that picture of what a produce section looks like from above. So lots of color, lots of variety. If you're buying produce in season, then it's typically less expensive. And Jody mentioned frozen fruits and vegetables here, and they can often be cheaper than buying fresh, and there's nothing wrong with them. Sometimes people have the stigma that frozen vegetables are not as good as fresh. Not at all true. So go ahead and buy your frozen fruits and vegetables to save yourself money. Nothing wrong with that.
They're all the goodness is frozen into the vegetables and the fruit. So you don't lose any of the nutritional value or nutrients in those fruits or vegetables because it's frozen right in.
All right, bakery section, things like foods, cookies, bagels, cakes. When you're in this section, look for that whole grain label on different breads, choosing those options when you can. Whole grain rice and pasta are often a very budget-friendly option, so they're pretty cheap. And you can use them as a base for a lot of different meals. And if you can choose the whole grain, even half of the time, then that's a great healthy option that you can get to get those healthy carbohydrates in. Meats and proteins, so looking more often to lean meats, things like chicken, turkey, ground beef, choosing those lean options if you can. Things like canned tuna, salmon, sardines, those things can be a great way to add protein to salads, and stir fries and stuff like that if you're looking to save money, because those cans are usually pretty affordable, and they're a good serving size for, let's say, to toss on top of a salad. If you have the means to buy family or value sized and freeze them, then go ahead and do that. Sometimes if you don't have a big freezer or have the ability to do that, then it's not going to save you money. But if you have the space and the storage space in a freezer to be able to do that, that will typically save you money in the long run. Eggs are also a pretty low cost protein option if you're looking for budget friendly protein. Dairy section, so this is where you're going to find cheeses, yogurts, milk, and those kinds of things. Looking low fat or fat free milk if you can. With yogurt, I always say buy plain yogurt and then add your own fruits and vegetables, your own fruit. Typically frozen fruit will work really well here too. You just have to remember to maybe take it out of the freezer the night before, or if you're taking it to school for lunch, take it out in the morning. Typically by the time you go and eat it at lunchtime, it's thawed enough that you can eat it. And then looking for low or reduced fat cheeses is also a good option here in that dairy section. Freezer section can be overwhelming. You're going to find a ton of different stuff in it. You're going to find those frozen fruits and vegetables, frozen meats. You're going to find pre-prepared TV dinners is what we call them. Those would be things that you pop in the microwave and it's a meal all in one. So it'll typically have some sort of meat and maybe a vegetable or potato in there. Those are typically pretty processed foods. So avoid those if you can. I know sometimes you need something quick. So they can come in handy in those situations, but avoiding them when you can. And then looking at ingredient lists in the freezer section, because there's some really good foods in the freezer section. And then there's some not so good foods in the freezer section. So just be aware of what is in the foods that you're purchasing out of that section. Those center aisles, again, we're talking water over things like the sodas, the energy drinks, those kinds of things. Skipping the chip and cookie aisles. I know I have to do that because if I walk down them, those things end up in my cart. And if you are buying from these aisles, again, looking at those ingredient lists, looking for whole grains, looking for no or less added sugar and low sodium options are all really helpful cues here. there is good things in the center aisle. Sometimes the center aisles get a bad reputation, but there are things like pastas and rices and canned fruits and vegetables and canned fish and those kinds of things down those aisles that are good. So it's not all bad in those center aisles.
Typically when you're talking about eating healthy, and Ashley may touch on this, and she's kind of touching on it, is that we've talked about, all the different sections around the exterior. And typically when we talk about somebody starting to eat healthier and make choices to make things easier, I often tell clients that you start your grocery shopping and purchase as much as you can of your groceries from the exterior of the grocery store. So you're going to find less packaged, processed types of foods around. The healthier options are around the perimeter of the grocery store. And when you're making your list, make sure you specifically make the list for those things that you have to go and get down the aisle, or you're going to get caught up with throwing the chips into your cart. So if you know, like Ashley said, there are some things down the center aisle that are good for you, that are things that you need. And there are some whole grain crackers and canned fish and fruits and vegetables. But trying to go through those aisles as quick as you can and only grabbing the things that are on your list, because in the marketing world, they put things on the end of those things to entice you to purchase them. And if you don't have a list made of those things that you're specifically going down the aisle for, it's very easy to throw the things that you don't want, because you're like, oh, that looks really good. It's Christmas time. Look at those Christmas cookies that are out. And look at those crackers that are shaped like Christmas trees. I better throw those into my cart. So that's why we just typically say, go to the exterior and make sure you write on your list those things you have to go down the central aisle for.
Well summed up. You will see other different kinds of things depending on which grocery stores you're shopping in. You will see things like bulk sections, which you see in the bottom there. Sometimes you'll find nuts and seeds and stuff like that in those sections. So again, not a section you have to completely avoid, but you will also find your chocolates and your candies and stuff in those sections as well. Some grocery stores have a health food section. You'll find things like milk alternatives in those aisles, and different, if you are eating like a gluten-free diet or something like that, you will often find those foods down those health food aisles. You'll find pre-made dishes, deli counters, salad bars in some of those, I'm going to call them more expensive grocery stores, because typically that's where you'll see those. You'll see things like discount carts, and often I find they're often in the produce section, and there'll be little carts that are just kind of tucked in the corner, and they have produce on them that may be close to expiry. It's not it's not molding or anything, but if you're going to take it home and use it that day, or take it home and freeze it, this can be a really good way to save money. You will find supplement aisles, again, often with those health foods. End caps are the ends of the aisles, and Jody kind of touched on this, but that is a big marketing thing for a lot of grocery stores. Believe it or not, there is a method to the way they lay out grocery stores. The checkouts fall the same way. They put those little chocolate bars and things in the checkout aisles and on the end of aisles, because they jump out at people. And when you're standing in the aisle waiting to check out, you'll often be looking around, and that's where you'll often find the chocolate and the candy and those kinds of things around you. And it's really easy to just pick something up and pop it in your cart. So be aware of those sections. Like I said, there is a reason they lay out grocery stores the way that they do. We kind of touched on a lot of these tips through this, but just to sum up, tips for shopping on a budget. Try asking others where they shop and look for the cheaper grocery stores, I'm going to call them. So here we have grocery stores that are a little bit more affordable, and then we have grocery stores that I call the expensive grocery stores. Oftentimes you find exactly the same things in them, but one option might be a little bit cheaper than the other, so that can be something to consider.
Or the no names.
Yep. I think that's in here too.
Yeah.
Looking for the off-brand items. So eating before you go to the grocery store, because I know when I go into the grocery store hungry, I'm very tempted to grab those things from those checkout aisles or the end caps. And then looking for sales and using coupons. Coupons still do exist. You just don't necessarily cut them out of the newspaper like you used to. So get online and search for coupons ahead of time before you go to the grocery store. And often you can just save them in your phone. You don't even have to print them off anymore. Price matching is another thing that's come up. So you can find out which grocery stores will price match. Price matching basically means that you found the same item cheaper somewhere else, but you're going to purchase it at that store you're in, and they're going to match that cheaper price. A lot of grocery stores do that now. And then Jody just mentioned looking for off-brand items or no-name items. So I know for me, just to give you an example, peanut butter, Kraft peanut butter versus a no-name brand of peanut butter. A no-name brand of peanut butter is typically a little bit cheaper. And then for those of you who are eating by yourself, and this is kind of frowned upon by grocery stores in general, but if you grab from the back of the shelf, typically those items have a longer shelf life. When they stock the shelf, they stock the things that are going to expire sooner at the front and the things that have a further out expiry date at the back. So if you're just shopping for one person, sometimes grabbing from the back can extend the life of those products that you're buying. Farmers markets, which isn't going to be an option or as much of an option moving into the new year for cheaper produce, because there's not a lot of produce that's in season in the wintertime here, but during the summer, that can be a cost-saving option. I mentioned buying in bulk. So if you have the ability to store and freeze items, then go ahead and buy in bulk because it will typically save you money in the long run. We talked a little bit about big batches and freezing leftovers, and then get creative with your leftovers. So if you have chicken and vegetables for dinner, maybe you don't want chicken and vegetables for dinner again for lunch the next day, but maybe you throw them on a bed of lettuce and make a salad with them instead. And it's a little bit different, but you're still using up those leftovers. And I think that's it for the nutrition piece. So just to give you kind of an overview how to register for the Wellness Center, you're going to log into your WebAdvisor account. In the miscellaneous information section, you're going to click on the Wellness Center Get Active questionnaire. Once you complete that and submit it, your student card will become your access into the facility. So make sure that you get your student card when you get here, and you'll be able to use your student card to tap into the facility and come in and join us for our program services, all that good stuff.
It's been a little different right now this semester during COVID. While we don't have all the students back on campus. So typically this is the way that you would sign up if you are a student on campus full-time, but in a blended program. So some of your courses are online and some are in person. If you're fully online, you would not have access to this form on WebAdvisor, and you would have to purchase a membership right now in person with us. However, in January, if you are on campus, if you're blended, if you're fully on campus, fully here, then you can fill out your form on WebAdvisor. We can talk through on our website that we talked about, studentwellnesscenter.ca. It tells you all the steps you have to go through to set up a profile in our booking system, to then be able to book an appointment to come in and work out, because there's a whole process, and that process will still continue into January for a little period of time. So if you go onto our website, it lays it all out right now, and in January, some of the processes will be a little different. And that concludes our presentation, and we are open to take any questions that you have, anything like that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jody and Ashley. You guys have definitely given everyone lots to think about. just for a minute, by a show of hands, how many people here are still in their home country? If you could put a thumbs up, if that's the case for you, if you're still in your home country. Zoom user. Okay. So lots of you. What I would say then is this would be a really, really great presentation to look back on once you arrive in Canada, because we know that grocery stores all around the world are all a little bit different. So this will give you a great sense of kind of how to start preparing for meal planning and grocery shopping. So really great reference. There is often student discount days as well at local grocery stores. So definitely take advantage of that as well.
So I see one of the questions in here is, what are the affordable grocery stores in London? So there's the No Frills is the big one.
No
and
Frills would be the big one.
And it's basically, it's called No Frills, No Gimmicks. I used to work there actually going through high school and all through college. And they are known for, they have name brand products, but the reason why they're No Frills, No Gimmicks is because they have a lot of no name products there. And typically they don't pre-wash all of their produce. The way it comes is the way it goes out. So it's no frills, no gimmicks. You grab your stuff. So wash your own fruits and vegetables. The other one is a Freshco. Freshco is another affordable place to shop. Some of the superstores, the Walmart superstores, are also very inexpensive. They have a lot of really good options there as well. Anything else I'm missing?
No. So I always compare. So when you look at something like No Frills, there is the expensive grocery stores that I'm referring to would be like your Zehrs or your Loblaws, and they actually carry a lot of the same No Frills. And those places carry a lot of the same products, especially their store brand is President's Choice. So you can literally find the same things on their shelves, but typically you'll find it at a cheaper price than No Frills. So it's not less, or it's not lower quality food. It's the same food. It's just not quite as expensive.
So if you want to order, I'm seeing another one, ordering groceries. So we do this. My husband enlightened me to this whole process because I was very much old school, go to the grocery store, pick it out. I have to see it. I have to walk around. But there is one, it's called Click and Collect. So it's President's Choice, and you can actually do it specifically to the actual store that you're going to. So Superstore has one, Loblaws has their own, but I think there's one with a President's Choice, and No Frills has it. So Walmart has it. Freshco does not, but typically most places do. So you would go onto the app and you would be able to pick all your groceries, and you can, now these ones don't deliver. You would have to still go to the store and pick them up. They will come out to your car, you call, and they'll deliver them to you. Now there are places that if you are in quarantine, if you don't have a vehicle and you want to order your groceries, Instacart is another one, and you can order your groceries and they will deliver them right to your door. Now there usually is an extra cost to that. It's about between $5 and $10 extra that they charge on top just to do that for you. But we also do that. Costco does that. Costco is on Instacart, so you can, that's where you would purchase more bulk things and have to have a membership, but a lot of the places will.
Do you have a membership if you use Instacart?
For Costco?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, actually. I would have to check that with my husband because he does all the shopping. But you would have to figure, but Instacart is another one, and they can deliver right to your door as well. And sometimes some of the heavier items, like if you're getting a case of water, they it will be a $2 extra charge for the case because they have to carry it, that sort of thing. So there are some great options.
Sorry, I was just going to say, for people who are planning on ordering groceries for delivery, it's really important to note that all of this needs to be paid for using a credit card.
Yes.
So you wouldn't be able to pay using cash on delivery. Everything has to go through, usually through an app or through a web form. So you definitely need to make sure you have a valid credit card that'll work here in Canada if your plan is to order groceries for delivery. I thought maybe we'll switch over and start answering some of the questions we've had in the chat. There's some really great ones here. So Sheila is asking if the tap water in Ontario is potable. So can you please share a little bit about our delicious drinking water and maybe even also drinking water on campus? Because we have a lot.
There's lots of the water out of the tap everywhere in London is drinkable. You can take it with you. On campus, we have hydration stations. So you can bring your water bottle and you can fill it right up on the hydration stations. And they're all over the campus. So we are very fortunate that we can drink our water here from the tap, and it's very safe, and I drink it all the time.
Drink water on campus all the time.
All the time. Yes.
Cold and delicious.
Yep.
We have a few questions related to the Wellness Center and access for students that are maybe studying at a different campus, and any other wellness resources that students can take advantage of if they're not at Oxford Street. Can you share a little bit about their options?
Yeah. So students who are not at our campus, if you are on a London campus, if you're a full-time student on any campus in London, then it's built into your tuition and you have access to this facility.
So that includes London South and downtown.
Yes. So anyone in London. If you are at a different campus, say Woodstock and St. Thomas or anywhere else, you live in London, you can still have access to the facility. You just have to purchase a membership because it's not charged to you in your tuition. Now, any of our wellness services in our classes, we will still continue with all of the things that we offer virtually. So you can still follow us on Facebook and get all of those services. You'll still be able to get them on our Instagram. And we do our current booking system that we do have the ability to run all of our programs and classes through that. So we will be transitioning to that. And we run challenges virtually and everything as well. So you can still have access to all of those things virtually.
And Jody, is there any charge for any of those wellness activities?
Right now, virtually, no, there's nothing. There's no charges. It's all free. It's free for the students. Going, into the future, I'm not sure if they're going to want us to charge a little fee for students that are on a different campus. But for now, everything is included. So until things change, you have access to everything we do, our classes, our stretch breaks, our nutrition minutes, our challenges, anything that we run.
Yeah, it's a wonderful resource. So definitely, as students, you have access to so much, and it's in your best interest to take advantage of these wonderful opportunities. So definitely check out the website and make sure you're following them on social media as well, so you know what's happening, what's new and exciting. This comment didn't come up in the chat, but it's something I hear quite often, and it's questions around the Fowler Kennedy Clinic and whether or not international students are able to attend the clinic, and if their More Care insurance is accepted there. And the answer is yes. So if you do need to see a doctor, you're welcome to go to the Fowler Kennedy Clinic. It says it's a sports medicine clinic, and I think that sometimes maybe confuses some students. But it is a full suite of services, including a doctor. So if you need a regular kind of medical checkup, you're welcome to go there, and you will be covered by your More Care insurance. So we're just in our final few minutes of our session today. So if anyone had any kind of last burning questions, you're welcome to pop those in now. Ashley or Jody, can I please ask you just to one more time pop in the website for everyone to make note of? And I believe they'll also be able to share a copy of their presentation from today. Is that correct? Your PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So again, the information they shared is really valuable. So I really encourage each of you, before you do your first shopping trip in Canada, have a second look through that document, because it's very helpful.
Yes, it is.
So we don't have any more questions coming in. I'm seeing lots of thank yous, and we thank you guys for coming today too, and spending an hour of your day with us. Our next
Thank you for allowing us to talk for an hour about
Yes.
things that we love
We
to
like.
talk about.
Our next session is going to be a really important one for all of you to attend. It's going to be taking place on Monday, November 22nd, and it will be day 10 of our Fanshawe Cares live series. We will be joined by Brenda Henry, who is the manager of environmental safety here at Fanshawe College. So she's going to tell you a little bit about what the college has put in place to make sure you guys are safe, just in general, and also protocols around COVID-19 and important information that you'll need to know about attending campus and what's required. So I hope we'll see you all there again. And thank you again very much, Ashley and Jody, for joining us today.
Thank
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye, everyone.